Hi, it's me again with Corel Tips and Tricks, and the gentleman sent me this drawing, and he said this wouldn't turn black, but if I left click it, it does fill in black, so maybe I misunderstood. But this plaque, it's a laser buzz, and they used to do a really good job, but this is a hairline, and that's fine, because it's going to cut out the outside of the plaque, but if you do this, which is a hairline, it's going to cut that circle out. That's going to cut that circle out, and that whole center is going to fall out. So you need to turn all your cut lines to red and hairlines, and turn your non-engravable lines to black and thicker. So we're going to take this red line, and it's not a hairline, but it's also a CMYK, and we're going to make them black. We're going to take this line, and it's a hairline, but we're going to make it, and I'm going to change this to points, because I'm more familiar with points. We're going to make it 0.75 of a point, and we want it to engrave, so I'm going to make it black. So the blue line we want to change to red, and it's a red hairline, and it's actually a RGB line. But the blue line we want to turn to black and make them something other than a hairline, because we don't want them to cut out. Then we can take the red, and for the video, I'm not going to completely do the eagle, but you'd have to do the eagle the same way. And that's good enough right there. So the red line is going to cut out. It doesn't matter if the lines are red, green, blue, or purple, as long as they're not hairlines. So this is going to cut out. That's fine, and they've installed other lines that are thicker, so it'll look like it continue on. But I would take all those lines and get rid of them, or change them to a different color and change all these to red. But that's not particularly a problem. This was a problem, because this is going to cut out. Then he was saying he was having trouble filling in the black, so I don't understand that, because that does that. So I thought in this type plaque, and they've got it designed where you can't even delete that. I don't know if it's locked. Nope. They're pretty smart. You can't even get rid of that laser bud signal, and we don't need to get rid of it. But we need to text the path, this shape, and I think his shape up here is going to, well, it actually is. So he's already done that. But I thought I'd show you, I don't know where he's going to put the navy, because I think he wants to put the man's name. So I think he wants it like this. So we're going to do this, and we need something pretty long. So this is in the center of the page. We're going to take a perpendicular line and press P and put it in the center of the page. One thing about a whole line, it's got a revolution in the center. We're going to Control D, and you also have your duplicate on 4. I've never seen that before. So let's Control D, and this is why you don't want to do that. And then let's rotate this thing 45 degrees. You know what? Let's rotate it 55 degrees. Okay? Now we need to do this one. See if I can get rid of those zeros. Negative 55 degrees. So we've got a spot in there. And then what I would do is smart fill it and fill that in. Now, let's see what our nudge distance is. Let's set it on 13 inches. And let's nudge our smart fill out of the way. We can get rid of these lines. And we're going to take this and left click, right click. Now we've got some waviness, but I don't think that'll really matter. And what I'm going to do is go to the shape tool and select this node right here and break it apart. I'm going to take this node right here and break it apart. So you could right click it or go up to the top. And now because it's broken apart, we should be able to take this line and, whoop, I picked the wrong one. I'm going to have to zoom in here so I can see it. It's this line right here we need to move. And got to zoom in. We want the arrow that's facing that direction. So now we have this line by itself, but it's still kind of connected. So we need to go to range and break curve apart. Now, we don't want to move our line. We want to delete this line. There's our new path. It's not going to be quite long enough. Maybe we might have to, let's make this, and who I'm doing this for, you can change this at any time. Let's make it 50 points. Whoop. All right. Now we're going to text the path. And we're having a little bit of trouble because of the line itself. So we're going to back up here, and we're just going to do an easier way probably anyway. We're going to take a 3-point curve line and go from that node to that node, holding down the control button to make it equal. And we're just going to create a new path. Now I'm going to nudge that out of the way. Now I can nudge my line that's not any good, just delete it, and nudge my new path up. Now I can select on my text, go to text to path, and voila, it worked a lot better. Let's look at it. We're a little bit scrunched up there. Take your shape tool. Then you can take all your tools up here and move this around the other way. Make that navy kind of even. Now we can go up to a range. Let's select it all. Go up to a range and break text apart. Try to click on our line and move it down. We did. Now we can use the United States over. Now, really, I should have drawn a line right down the middle because it's actually too little now. But we can nudge it up, move it up, and that ain't going to work. So let's start back because we really want it in the middle of that item. So let's do this. Let's nudge our whole thing over there. Well, I must have already broken it apart. So make sure this is all one piece. Nudge it over. Then we can play around with these tools up top and have it come off the edge about where we want it, and we can still use this to rotate it back to the center. Now I could have made the text quite a bit larger. So really and truly what I did, you didn't really have to do with the Smart Fill tool, but it did give you a start. One of the ways I would do this, and now we can, let's do this real quick. Break text apart and get rid of that line. Hopefully I can hit that line, and I did. Okay, we know that this circle is 7.1 inches big. Let's go with a circle, an ellipse, and let's make it 8.5. And let's put it in the center of the page. There could be your new path. We could actually make it a little bit smaller. So kind of forget what I did at first. I wasn't thinking about this being a circle. And we're in the center of the page, so we're perfectly there. Then I know he wants to put this name up here, and we were 50 points, so we'll make Don 50 points. And like I said, who I'm doing this for, you can change it. Now, do you see he's got the name reversed? And that's going to help him. I'm going to move this out of the way because a lot of times those other things will hurt you. Go to text, fit text to path, and look how it turned it around. So the person who sent me this has learned how to do that. Now we could take the text and move it apart a little bit. And then what's so nice about this, then you go arrange, break curve apart, or text apart, move the circle out of the way, and then move this back. But as you can see, we're too far again. So let's go completely back. Let's nudge the whole thing over. And because it's on the inside of the line, we might have some trouble. Nope, we can do it. So you can arrange it to the outside of the line, then you can move it and spin it around to where it's kind of even. And there's ways to check that. You know, you could bring in indexing lines and go, well, it's on the Don there, and it's on the T there, and see if they're not equal, because you want to do it right. And then once you've got that, and I can see the United States is a little bit off center, click on your circle, go to arrange and break text apart, and then get rid of your circle. So that might not have been his help that he needed, but if you do not change those to non-hairlines, the center of the plaque is going to fall out. So I would take the time, and the best way to do something like this is a hairline, but it is a CMYK hairline. And I'm not going to do this to take the time for the video. Our nudge factor still set on 13. I would move every one of these black lines, out of the way. Just nudge them over. Take just a little bit. You can nudge them over. Okay, if you collect on one and it's getting in your way, just move it out of the way the opposite direction. So I'm gonna do a little bit of this. And then I would do all the stars. But then after I got everything over there, it is a hairline, but I turned it to a red hairline. And actually, it turned it to an RGB hairline because your color palette is RGB. And then while you're doing that, I would go ahead and make all the red lines black because they're not hairlines, just so you'll know that they're an engraved line. And I'm just right-clicking them out. So there's a couple more. We'll just do it real quick. Just a few more little areas that all needed to be red. And maybe it'll make you think about the red lines being black lines. Maybe we can do it. So let's just take all the stars, and I'm just holding down the left mouse button or clicking the left mouse button after I select the star. And I see one more. So I think I've got all the cut lines, maybe the eagle's eye. So all these need to be cut lines. So you can select them all and make them red. Actually hit purple. So now those are all cut lines. I would just double check, and it's an RGB cut line. Then you might or might not be able to grab these other ones with, let's use a tool I very seldom ever use called the freehand pick tool. Okay, we're grabbing the outside so you can lock it. You can nudge that out of the way. We're grabbing that one, you can nudge it out of the way. Well, actually, we need to put it back to where it was before we nudge it out of the way. Now we're clear with the freehand pick tool. You could lasso all these red lines that need to be black. Double click on your toolbar, make them 0.75, make them, see their CMYK, make them RGB, and make them black. That way you know all these lines are engravable lines. Now this is a cutout line and that's fine, but we need to turn it red. This is the line and we need to turn it red. Now we can move all these. That's one reason I don't like that tool. Pick tool. Pick all this and move it back. It looks funny. Well, I did something. There we go. So now all my cut lines are red, all my engraved lines are black, and then you can nudge these things back to in place. And that should be good to go. I'm not going to send you this file unless you want it, because I think you're going to maybe want to make this a little bit bigger. It would look good the way it is, but you could make it quite a bit bigger. And once you've kind of gone away, you can't really change it. Because if you make this 60 points now, it's going to put it out of curve. I'm having trouble. See, it changes the curve. So you really can't do that. Anyway, I hope that answered his question. Thank you for watching.